All right, so guys, what we're going to be working on here is just general triangle word problems. They're going to be, you're either going to be using the law of sines or you're going to be using the law of cosines. You just have to know which one, okay? Now I'm going to go back real quick. I want you guys, in your journal, you should have this. If your triangle has angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle, you're going to be using the law of sines. If it's side, 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 or side, angle, sine, we're using the law of cosine. So make sure you are aware of that. So let's take a look at our picture. It says, perched upon Pinnacle Point, Peter picks up a peculiar piece of parchment, pictured below. All right. This might be a treasure map, he exclaims as he flips it over, revealing a clue. So here we go. We have a clue right here. It looks like we have a side, and another side. So if we have a side, and another side in this picture, which are we going to use? Side, 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 right? We have three sides. So what do we have to use? The law of cosines when you're given three sides. Now, I'm not sure which angle it is through the words. Well, I do, but if you see the question mark, that kind of lets you know which angle you're working with. That angle right there. All right? So right now, what we're looking for is the measure of this angle right here. Now, if you would please, call that A, call that B, call that C. A, B, C. So we're going to be using this formula right here. Put A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC times the cosine of capital A. All right, so you already should have this in your journal, but right now I labeled it A, B, and C. So right now we are going to be plugging things in. So right now, what number am I going to square for A? What would you guys say? 861. So put 861 squared. Okay? So this is your lowercase a. All right? This right here is your lowercase b, and this is your lowercase c. So I'm going to put 989 squared plus 673 squared minus 2 times 989 and 673. So this is a lot. These are pretty big numbers. Now, when we're finding the measure of an angle, you want to make sure you do this separately, do this separately, and then do this right here separately. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I do this nice and neat. So we're starting with what? 861 squared is, holy cow, 741,321. 741,321. 741,321. 741,321. Make sure I did that right. Okay, good. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set that equal to, this is going to be ugly, but really big, 989 squared plus 673 squared, 1431050. 1431050. 1431050. 1,431,050. Minus, I'm doing 2 times 981 times 673. So do 2 times 989 times 673. 1331194. 1331194. 1331194 times the cosine of A. Do not subtract these, all right? Do not subtract these right here. What we have to do is we need to take away this 1,431,050 from both sides of the equal sign. So we're going to take, so here's what I do. I go up here, I grab it, take that guy, and I take away this guy right here without having to retype it all. And I get negative 689,729. Negative 689,729. And that equals that equals this right here, which is, because that zeroes out, but that, I'm going to bring it down, okay? All right, so I'm going to rewrite it nice and neat here. Here we go. So while I'm writing it, what am I going to have to divide both sides by? That negative 1,331,194. I'm going to divide both sides by that. So I have to divide this side and this side by that guy. Now your calculators are a lot easier to use. You don't have to do this all in your head, obviously. Yeah, you could leave it. So you could just leave it right here because these will cancel out. So you could just put it in the calculator like that. Now these negatives are going to cancel out, but your answer for A will end up equaling what's called the inverse of cosine. I'm just going to take all of that and just drop it in. Okay? So right now, if I take this guy, all right, I'm going to go second cosine. I'm going to take him right there, and I'm going to divide it by a negative him, close it, and press enter. Make sure your mode is what? In degree mode, okay? So I got 58.7 degrees, so the nearest whole degree would be 59 degrees. So that would approximately equals 59 degrees. So in this particular problem, if it says, hey, what's the answer to the nearest degree, what am I going to type in? 59. Okay? That's probably the hardest one that you're going to have to get. Okay? So we're going to do one more right here. One more. So if you would please, in your journal, just draw this triangle. All right? So as I'm reading it, you can be drawing the triangle. Satellites KA-12 and SAL-1 have spotted UFO. Scientists want to determine the distance from K-12 to, all right, distances. Oh, so we have all these. We're trying to find the measure of this length. So right now, we're trying to find this measure right there. Okay? So right now, we have this angle right in here. So we have an angle right here. We have a side in the middle. And then we have another what? We have another angle right there. So right here's what we have. We have an angle, side, angle. So which are we going to use? Are we going to use the law of sines, or are we going to use the law of cosines if we have angle, side, angle? Law of sines. So if you would please write down law of sines. Okay? Now, they didn't label everything, so I'm going to label some stuff here. I'm going to call this angle A. I'm going to call this angle B. I'm going to call that angle C, which means this is lowercase a, which means this right here is lowercase b, which means the side I'm looking for, I'm labeling it what? Lowercase c. So if you would please label that triangle. All right, so right now we have 60 degrees, 75 degrees. What does that leave us with right here? Oh, so we have all these have to add up to what? 180. So this is what? 45 degrees. If you can't see that, you could do what? 180, and what could you take away? 75, and what was the other one we had to take away? Is it 60? Which leaves you with what? 45. Now that's important. They didn't give us that. We actually had to, we need that, because I want you guys to write this down. Put A over the sine of capital A equals C over the sine of capital C. Why are we using that? Because we're looking for lowercase c. All right, so what is lowercase a, everybody? What's the distance of lowercase a? 900, so put 900. Then I have to use the sine of A. So what did we have to use for our angle for measure Yeah, so that's the part that made this a little bit trickier. They didn't give it to us, but we could find it by taking these away from 180. Then we set it equal to C times the sine. What's the angle C measured? What's the angle of yeah, 75 degrees. Good. So now, the hardest part of this is just getting everything set up to your proportion. So right now, what can we do? Just simply do what? Cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, we get C times the sine of 45 degrees equals 900 times the sine of 75 degrees. So what would be our final and last step to solve for this guy right here? Divide both sides by what? Not just 45, but the sine of 45. All right, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the approximate value of C. So we're going to take this in the calculator. I'm going to type it in carefully and press enter. So I'm going to hit alpha y equals enter. I'm going to type in a 900. I'm going to type in the sine of 75. And then I'm going to divide it by the sine of 45 and press enter. And I get 1,229.42. So I'm going to write that down. 1,229 point what? Oh, 42. 40. And what does it ask us for? Nearest tenth? Oh, nearest kilometer. Okay, so we just put what? 1229. That's it. So I'm going to type it in. 1229. Come on, be right, be right. Whoa. I don't know. Check. Nailed it. By the way, what are we using on this? Either law of sines or law of cosines. One or the other. Good luck.